A Quiet Place is a nail-biting horror movie that maintains suspense and keeps the audience on tiptoes till the end. An awkward silence prevails throughout the movie. This silence has a reason, as an invincible extraterrestrial creature has dashed the planet Earth. The creatures are unable to see, but they have ultra-sensitive hearing capacity. The unique or surprising thing about this creature is that though they are sensitive to sounds, they are only after human lives whenever they detect a sound. Aside from the plot, this movie, like many other movies, intrigues whether extraterrestrial life exists or not. There is no conclusive scientific evidence about the existence of extraterrestrial life. However, we can notice that the power and capacity of the extraterrestrial creature are far greater than the creatures on the Earth. They have extra-developed and extra-sensitive senses and operational capabilities. Moreover, there is a psychological and familial angle in the plot. Also, many life lessons can be learned from this movie too. Plot. It is the story of a family who survives in the post-apocalyptic world, under intense danger of being cut and killed by a creature who has an ultra-sensitive hearing capacity. One thing is most important about this movie, and that is sound. Whoever produces sound is susceptible to get killed instantly. The movie opens up on 89th in the post-apocalyptic world. A family of 5 people live in the empty store of a ghost town. In the Abbott family, Evelyn Abbott, Emily Blunt, is the family mother, Lee Abbott, John Krasinski, plays the father, and Reagan, Millicent Simmons, Marcus, Noah Jupe, and Beau, Kate Woodward, play 3 children. Reagan is the eldest daughter, who is deaf, and Marcus being the elder and Beau the youngest son. As the movie opens, the mother of the family, Evelyn Abbott, gives some medicine to her elder son Marcus, who is sick. The daughter, Reagan, is deaf, and her mother uses sign language to tell Reagan that her brother is okay. Then Reagan approaches her younger brother Beau, who's drawing a rocket on the floor, and he signs to Reagan, "Rocket, that's how we'll get away." Then he climbs on the empty shelves, and there he finds a space shuttle toy, and it drops from his hand. Then Reagan scrambles and catches it before it hits the ground. The father of the family, Lee, scavenged some electronic devices and circuits for radio to boost its signals to contact any survivor of the post-apocalyptic world. Lee gets startled and scared when he sees a space shuttle toy in Beau's hand, and Lee carefully takes the toy away from Beau and removes the batteries and signals to his son, "It's too loud." Meanwhile, they depart from the house in the evening on the sand trails they have created. As the family departs, Reagan sneaks the toy back to Beau, which results in his death. As they are passing a walking bridge, they hear an electronic sound and got terrified when Lee finds that it's the sound of a space shuttle toy and that it even is in the hands of Beau. Lee rushes back to rescue Beau, but as aliens are sound sensitive, they seize and kill Beau instantly. The Abbott family reaches the family farm, where the story begins with thrill and suspense. The nerve-shredding scene here tests the resiliency of the family against those monsters. You will find that every member of the family awaits death at one point or the other. Lee has set up a surveillance system using cameras around the farmhouse. His wife Evelyn is pregnant, and she sets up an oxygen tank and connects with an infant oxygen mask. She sits next to a soundproof baby crib. Evelyn asks her daughter to inform her father that dinner is ready. She reluctantly goes to her father and signs that food is ready, and they all sit around a dining table. They join hands and offer a silent prayer before starting dinner. Here occurs an incident that they are going to be killed for sure, as while playing Monopoly, Marcus knocks over the lantern, and it falls off, producing a sound, and sets the rug on fire. The sound produced frightened Lee, and panic-stricken, Lee rushed and put a jacket on the fire to extinguish. As those indestructible creatures are sound-sensitive, the sound produced by the falling of the lantern horrified them, and Lee was as if waiting to get seized and killed. However, the family awaited the death very closely, as nothing happened. The scene changes, and Lee is pouring more sand on their walking path to not make a creak sound. Evelyn's due date is just a couple of weeks away, and she checks her blood pressure. She places a stethoscope on her abdomen. The stethoscope reveals a healthy heartbeat. Reagan enters the door and sets her footsteps on the walking path carefully. As she is deaf, her father asks her to put on a cochlear implant processor to aid her in listening, but she signs that it does not work. Little does Lee know that this cochlear implant processor would be the one that is going to save her family against those aliens. This is the most interesting point, but Lee and Evelyn and Reagan do not know about it. Lee sets on an excursion and urges Marcus to go with him, which he agrees to reluctantly. They reach a river, where Lee demonstrates to his son that it's okay to make a sound when louder sounds are around. While moving back home, Lee and Marcus are startled by catching a scene of an old man and his dead wife in the woods. Lee signs the old man not to scream, but due to extreme emotional pain, the old man screams louder, making his death inevitable. Lee grabs Marcus and runs. Back home, while moving downstairs, Evelyn impales her foot on a cursed nail. It pierces into the foot. Screams from her mouth are about to come out, but she manages to stifle them. While doing so, she hits a picture frame that falls and causes audible shatter, and we know her life is in acute danger now. Detecting sound, one of the beasts enters the home. Horrified Evelyn, bleeding from her foot, improvises a trap by setting a kitchen timer to buy them time to exit the house. She turns the red lights on as an indicator of danger and threat prevailing in the home. Evelyn buries herself in the bathtub, and by stifling her screams, she starts birthing. As Lee and Marcus reach near the farm, after seeing the red lights they got terrified as Evelyn is at home alone. Lee gets the danger sign and asks Marcus to produce a louder voice so that his mother can evade the death. He sets up firecrackers to distract the monsters. Meanwhile, Lee grabs his gun and enters, and searches the house. As he approaches a bathtub, he finds blood and starts weeping, believing those cursed creatures have killed his wife. However, he finds his wife is safe, with her son in the shower side. While running back home, Marcus hits a tractor's wheel and knocks himself unconscious. While coming back home, Reagan stops and looks at the light coming from Marcus's flashlight, which had fallen on the ground. A monster is also chasing Reagan. However, when the monster approaches Reagan, her cochlear implant processor starts producing high-pitched feedback frequency. This frequency disturbs that beast, causing it to run off. Reagan finds Marcus, and both go to the top of the silo. Both fall in the silo, which produces sound, and it is clear that the monster creature will approach them again. Once again, the high-pitched sound from the cochlear implant processor as that beast jumps on them in silo saves Reagan and Marcus from death. Back at home, Evelyn and Lee converse and show love for each other. Suddenly, Evelyn asks about Reagan and Marcus. Lee rushes out of the house with an axe in his hand to find them. Reagan and Marcus crawl out of the silo and are in a pickup truck. That alien creature approaches them, and this time, when that high-pitched sound starts coming out from the cochlear implant processor, Reagan turns it off. Lee, looking how the monster is attacking Reagan and Marcus, yells to catch the attention of that beast, and ultimately sacrifices his life to save his children. Destruction of the indestructible. Here comes the last moment when Evelyn and Reagan scramble against the monster. Evelyn grabs the shotgun and points at the approaching alien. While being afraid of the creature, Reagan notices the whiteboards, where her father has displayed all the information regarding the alien creatures. However, there was no weakness mentioned on the boards. This makes Reagan realize that the aliens have been feeling irritated by the frequency of her cochlear implants. She quickly brings the cochlear implant processor near the microphone that produces a loud sound, which makes the creature weak, and hence Evelyn shoots directly into the sensory cells of the alien and kills it. It seems as if they have resolved the problem, but suddenly they notice all the other aliens coming towards them due to the gunshot sound. The movie ends on that plot, leaving the ending open for the next part to be released. Critical analysis. 2 things. Silence and American Sign Language (ASL) perfectly complement the theme of the movie. They intensify the horror. They are 2 critical aspects of the movies. First, humans can defeat any such creature only with determination, resilience, and intelligent use of technology. Secondly, there are many life lessons we can learn from the movie. First, always listen to your parents. Parents' wisdom can save you from many problems, as in the case of Bo, who gets killed. Secondly, life thrives against all odds through sacrifice, as in the case of Lee. Thirdly, survival against adversity takes planning and a caring attitude. Fourth, women are the epitome of patience, determination, love, and care. Emily's birthing scene reveals how painful it becomes for a woman to give birth, even when such horrible conditions exist. There are many life skills one can learn from the movie too. For example, silence is a life skill. The Abbott family can communicate without speaking, which keeps the Abbott family alive. Similarly, being able to operate multiple things makes people navigate through difficult situations effectively. Evelyn and Lee use firearms, operate a radio, set surveillance system, and Evelyn even gives birth without a doctor. Another important lesson or skill is sometimes you have to do what scares you. When going on an excursion, Marcus resists going outside, and his parents know there is danger outside. But his parents urge him to go outside so that he can learn to face the danger.